So this photo was originally taken in the Camden Assembly in London. It was a Mali Koa show. It was one of the first shows I shot once I got my Canon DSLR. So it was quite a bit of a throwback for me. But hopefully you enjoy this editing walkthrough on Lightroom. I go onto the editing panel and there's a lot of purple lighting, there's a lot of red lighting. So the first thing I did was I went straight down and cooled the temperature down. Obviously going up was going to make it more red, so I took it just a little bit down, but then I was like, okay, I really don't want it to look that blue, so I'm going to turn it right down and really use the green tint to basically try and eradicate as much of that purple lighting as possible. Obviously taking it in that direction is going to make the light really orange, so I also took that right down, really just to try and cancel these out. Then I dehazed it because there was a little bit of smoke on the stage, so obviously I'm not going to do it that much because that will darken it, so you want to try and have a nice balance between the two, just like so. And then I scrolled all the way up, went back into my lighting curve, played around with that a little bit. What you really want though is, so I went on to the blue, just the blue curve, so it isolates all of the blue lighting and really just dragged it down right into the middle, so it really pulls away this big spike of blue light and it helps brighten up and eradicate the blue tint to it. So I just had a little play around until I found a nice happy medium that really helped Mali look a lot less covered in pink lighting, which is always a good thing. And then further up the curve I also pulled it down so the background would have less blue lighting, which helps bring more focus onto the colouring in the foreground of the photo. And I just really like this effect. It kind of, the way it looked to me in the foreground when I was originally editing it, I really liked it because of the way I managed to get her like shawl. I can't remember what she was wearing, but her like black velvet thing, it really managed to make it look a lot nicer and it just made everything look quite glowy. So that's what I kept doing basically on this lighting curve. So when I was first editing my photos, my like process to get to my photos from my camera, I hadn't quite managed to figure out that just airdropping stuff to my phone and then from my phone to my Mac was changing it from a raw file straight into a JPEG. So obviously you can't play around with too much lighting stuff when it's in a JPEG instead of a raw file, even though I was shooting everything in RAW at the time. I didn't quite figure out how to keep it in RAW in my brain, but we got there eventually, which is fine. And then I added a little bit more clarity just to try and help some of the lines stand out a little bit more that might have been lost. And then I just sharpened it a tiny bit, not too much, not terribly noticeable. With this with this cropping, so there was this horrible spike of lighting on like the left of the photo. I decided just to leave a tiny bit of it in on the left just because it ruined the centering of the photo if I didn't. But yes, so that was the original, incredibly purple, incredibly red, and we somehow managed to pull this stunning stunning photo out. I'll see you next week.